I stare into the rear-view mirror, watching for any signs of taillights in her wake. Leo's driving, of course. Carl's feeling woozy after everything that happened. I wish I was sitting in the back with him, but unfortunately, my legs are too long. That, and Leo's van is clearly not designed for folks with thick tails, so I gotta sit with my cheeks straddling the edge to make room. He's sitting in between Jenna and TJ with Dax and Chase in the back. There's been some chatter about what happened, and what's bullshit and not bullshit. TJ is the only one who's been quiet. One thing is for certain. With everything that's happened, everyone seems pretty focused on getting out of town. Leo doesn't floor it like I expected him to. But we move down the bench of the mountain and through the town speedily enough. I see Jenna look out her own window intently, and I can only imagine it's to see if she can spot Jeremy, maybe even her mother. Dude, I don't feel good. Chase got bit by a black widow, and he's been complaining less than you, Carl. Speaking of, how are you holding up, Otter? Chase gives a half-hearted thumbs up, the mustelid's forehead resting against the side of the window. Carl, just puke on the floor if you have to. I don't think Leo's gonna stop. Carl leans over and puts his head between his knees, groaning. That gets TJ's attention, and he starts rubbing the ram's back slowly. Good thing smoothies probably aren't too bad on the way out. TJ frowns. I turned the dial on the radio, but, like the cell phone signal, I'm not getting anything. For now, I just turn up the AC and aim it up toward my face. My head's still throbbing up a storm. This feels like a dream, doesn't it? Leo speaks softly, too quiet for anyone behind us to hear. I wouldn't know. Locked Chase in a spider-infested room, then lied to us about it. I sigh, crossing my arms over the dashboard and leaning my face into them. I'm not in the mood for this shit, Leo. And then you risked your life to save him. Like with a gun and everything. Straight out of a scene in those westerns we used to watch. Pete on Access Channel. Remember? Scooter guy back there reminded me of Deputy Jack from Tumbleweed Armadillo with his whole speech. I craned my head up a little, raising a brow at the wolf. He seems pretty focused on the road. Jackson and Chase are muttering about something in the back of the van, but I can't make any of it out. But why? I mean, you could have finally gotten your revenge or whatever, yeah? It's hard to read the big wolf's expression. He's certainly different than his previous bullshit persona as a cheery spring break patriarch. He seems old. Way older than he actually is. Fucking hell, Leo. I don't want Chase dead. My tone comes out more tired and exasperated than genuinely angry. I just want the truth. Leo lets out a large breath through his nostrils, then slightly nods. Yeah. To be honest, I didn't even think about Sydney when I set this all up, you know? Of course you didn't. Leo never really was one to dwell much on Sid's death beyond saying he'd protect the rest of us because of what happened. Basically said shit was fucked up enough already, so you might as well try to stay positive and cherish what you got now. What he had was otter ass, so I'm sure that made it easier. There's a long pause. And, uh, the back of my frilled head. Never mind. Nothing. Another long silence. Dax gives Chase a bottle of water and Carl starts to play a game on his phone. A few minutes later, we're already passing the lake. So is it Sunday already? Sunday morning? That's what the clock says. What a fucking day. I don't say anything in response. We never got to ask Flynn's aunt about the thing. We could always go back and ask. What? No, I just... He's kidding, TJ. Oh. Blink stares at the space between his knees. Do you actually think she'd know anything about it, Flynn? I don't know. She and Mark knew enough about what happened with that body, though. Carl shivers and puts his head back down while TJ continues to rub his back. A few minutes of silence go by before Carl speaks up again. That feels kinda nice. Reminds me of my mom. Yeah, actually my mom did it too. Thought it might help. Hey, I love you. Just so you know. All of you guys. I'm glad we're getting out of here. Fuck it, I'm going back to Pueblo. I raise a brow ridge at the ram. And I'm taking you with me. He points a thick finger toward me, leaning forward enough that he pokes me in the shoulder. I restrain a smile, instead letting out an idle grunt. Me? College? What a thought. The idea of being around guys my age. And Carl. I'm not even sure what the hell I'd major in. Definitely not fucking poli-sci. I squeeze my wrist, trying to refocus. I love you too, Carl. And everyone else. You too, Captain Daxton. Captain? Oh. I was promoted. Cool. Daxton seems distracted, watching Chase stare at his own fingertips. Yeah. Chase aims his love for everyone with a groggy monotone. Jenna glances back at them before turning her attention out her own window. Leo doesn't say anything from the front, his focus solely on the road ahead of him. Are we at the clinic yet? Still about 20 minutes out. I watch the desert whip by us, for the first time feeling somewhat safe as the town disappears behind us. But, of course, that doesn't last long. What's that? On the side of the road there. Leo turns his head in the direction of something on the curb up ahead. We all do. What is that? Oh my gosh! Gigi covers his mouth. Carl sits up straight, trying to see. Leo slows down as we pass. There's Chase's car, all of the windows shattered. And there's Duke, lying a dozen feet away from the open door of the driver's side. And there, crouching over him, is something I can't explain. Hairless, body and limbs long. Way too long. The head comes up, and all I see are 3 holes and blood. TJ screams next to me, and Leo shouts something before stepping on the gas, slamming me back into my seat. I try to look back, but whatever it was is gone. At least, it's gone from where it was, because I see something move next to my window, and I turn to face it. And it stares back at me, but only for a moment. That thing, whatever the fuck it is, disappears almost the instant I register that it's there. I'm only staring out into the blackness of the desert. Still, 3 holes, eyes, and a mouth blink back at me in a sort of afterimage before that too vanishes.
It's him! It's him! It's him! It's him!
TJ reaches up and grabs my arm, claws out. I'm too shocked to even pull away as TJ leans forward next to me, staring out my window. At least, I know I'm not the only one that saw it. TJ squeaks again when no one answers him.
It's real?
I don't know. Some kind of animal, maybe? I've never seen anything like that before. Dude could have had a disease, lost all of its fur, or something. Maybe Duke hit it.
But it was walking! How was Duke here? He was back at City Hall!
Maybe it dragged him?
Faster than our car? How did it chase his car? I still have my keys on me. That's impossible!
Could have hotwired it? I don't know, man. TJ leans back, looping his arm around Carl's, and I can see him shaking. I look over my shoulder, through the back window. Jesus fuck. Just like Dax described. There! We've all seen it!
It's how I remember, but I don't remember it ever moving that fast. Or with, blood.
Jenna wrings her paws together, speaking quietly. Her tone is thoughtful and worried, as if she's trying to rationalize this all to herself. Fuck! That's what got Salem, isn't it? Jesus, don't fucking take your foot off the gas, Leo. Leo doesn't respond, staring hard ahead. He's squeezing on the wheel so hard it looks like it's bending. I pull back the hammer on the repeater, holding the rifle across my chest with the barrel pointed toward the window. I remember Duke's pistol that I stowed in the car door holder earlier. I grab it and toss it in the back seat. Jenna grabs it without hesitation, aiming out the opposite side. This is friggin' nuts! At this point, Chase's car is a good distance away, only visible because the headlights are on, a streak of light fading out across the desert.
Duke's dead, isn't he?
Some dry-retching noises followed by heavy splattering sounds cuts me off. Carl is hunched over in his seat, head between his legs. It isn't hard to figure out what just happened, especially when the smell hits me.
Oh my gosh, Carl!
TJ looks torn between blanching away and comforting the ram. Carl comes back up, looking like he's about to say something before diving forward again. A much louder retch, followed by a much quieter plopping sound follows. I grimace, feeling my own stomach roll. God! Daxton's looking up at them, a paw up to his nose. You okay, man? Carl keeps his head down a while longer, his fingers twisting into the fabric of his shorts. TJ tentatively rubs his back. I would have done it out the window. But I don't want to open any of the windows now, though.
It's okay. Leo, are there any napkins up there?
Leo, who's been silent up to now, remains silent. He's staring out the windshield hard, paws on the wheel in a death grip. Chase, meanwhile, is clutching at his chest, his eyes red and bleary. He leans forward, and the sound of something wet hitting the fabric floor mat is audible through the cabin. Chase's puke sounds much less wet than Carl's. The wretch is more grotesque. I can practically feel the bile in my own esophagus. Daxton stops what he's doing and holds Chase.
Fuck!
Yoder manages to exclaim in between the bouts of puking. Drank some water! During all this, I'm still glancing out the windows. Not head on, though, because I'm honestly fucking terrified I'm going to look straight into those eyes again. We drive in silence for the next 5 minutes with no creature in sight, thankfully. But I don't know what to think right now. There's no way what I saw was some animal like Carl implied. The way it moved. The way it was crouched. And most of all, its face. I've never seen anything like it. At least anything that's not a Halloween costume. Maybe one of the locals dressed up in a costume or something? Is this some sort of shitty prank show? Like that one on the science fiction channel? But then, how the fuck did it keep up with the car? Were we going that fast? Leo did slow down a little. I keep these thoughts to myself. Everyone looks freaked out enough without any more speculation. I feel trapped. Like I'm stuck in a metal box I can barely move in. With a gun, I can't aim. If this thing can outrun and rip at cars, nothing is safe. I just have to focus. We're on our way out, and soon I'll be safe in a clinic, police station, or an applauding audience surrounded by a shit ton of cameras. If it's the latter, I'm decking the first fucker that comes out with a microphone. I try not to think about Duke by the car. Sam on the blanket. My aunt out there trying to keep everyone safe. With that thing. I shake my head, trying to watch for any sign of movement.
Are you okay, Chase?
TJ's arm is still around Carl's, the lynx craning his neck to peer back at the hunched-over otter.
I've never been so freaking scared in my life. But yeah, okay.
Chase grasps at his throat and neck, wincing heavily.
It's getting harder to breathe.
Hold on, Chase.
No. Hogan. Oh. What?
The car lurches as Leo slows us down again. I squint my eyes, attempting to peer past the glare of the headlights' reach and into the darkness beyond. I don't see anything but the road stretching out ahead of us. In the back seat, Chase's craning, high-pitched voice pops up.
What's wrong?
Leo's quiet for a moment. His face is blank, ears twitching.
I don't.
Leo turns his seat, looking out the passenger window, then his own.
I'm heading the right way, right?
Why'd we stop?
TJ sounds panicked. The lynx turned around in his seat as he stares out the back window. It's the first time I've seen him in a car without a seatbelt on. Leo goes silent, a look of befuddlement crossing his red and white muzzle. He's looking to the mountains that surround Echo Canyon.
We aren't. Look!
Jenna scoots forward to the edge of her seat, pointing to something outside.
The hills! Those were on our right side a while ago. We must have looped around.
But we've been going straight this whole time!
The only way we'd be going back this way is if we got turned around when we hit the main highway. But we haven't hit the main highway. Have we?
Chase presses his furry cheek against the window, his tired eyes bulging.
What in the goddamn?
He trails off.
So we just seamlessly transitioned from going one way to the other without any of us noticing? No. Leo must have gotten off and turned around on that side road that
There's no way! I just... While trying to lean forward to get a better look at the mountains, Leo's elbow pushes down on the horn. TJ gasps, digging his claws into the fabric of his seat.
Please don't do that!
It was an accident, I swear!
Okay, just... let's be quiet, okay?
Leo, we're going the wrong way.
Jenna speaks as calmly as possible, clearly aware that the tension in here is getting increasingly high. Leo brings the car to a hard stop, throwing me forward into the seatbelt. Then he does a quick 3-point turn, shoving me right, then left before I'm smacked back into the seat as Leo accelerates again. I hear a soft thud of flesh on glass, then a groan from the back, Chase rubbing his face with a sore-looking nose. Injury upon injury. Sorry, Chase. You okay?
No.
He responds back hoarsely, sinking back further into the scratchy fabric of his seat. Sam. Dexon does a curt nod. The wolf clutches the steering wheel with an iron grip. We both stare out the windshield, eyes to the horizon. Nobody says anything for a while. Even in the silence, I can feel the growing unease from those behind us, the trembling of muscles and clicking of claws. I try to block it out, to just focus on watching what's ahead. All things considered, it's not so bad as long as I can keep the fear from clouding my mind. Though, that could be said about most things in life. We just have to keep driving. Get out of this fucking town. We can't get sidetracked again, especially with that fucking eyeless thing around. I wonder if it heard the horn earlier. I focus on the mountains now, making sure that they don't disappear. They slope up and down gently under the moonlight, speckled with dark spots of rock and vegetation. Vaguely, I remember back when I was younger, leading Sydney around the bend and entertaining his explorer fantasies. I brought my BB gun and he'd run around shooting at mesquite trees and looking for signs of lost native treasure. I told him that the pioneers thought there was a city of gold buried beneath the mountainous topsoil waiting to be unearthed. He fucking loved that. Even brought a little trench shovel to, as he put it, dig his own mine. Pretty sure he thought that was the whole reason for Echo's old mine, to find the city and shit. It wasn't a complete lie, either. The Ahachi tribe supposedly told the conquistador types that treasures and riches were stored aplenty in the Meseta territory around here centuries ago. Of course, it was so they'd fuck off and bother their rivals instead, but the prospectors did eventually find gold in the mountains. All Sid ever found was some feldspar and alabaster quartz. He kept a whole collection. I blink, staring out the window as the mountains just disappear, slope down into nothing. I squint. Then I look out Chase's window in the back. Sure enough, mountains. Leo. God damn it! Leo speeds up instead of turning around, though. Dude!
What are you doing?
DJ's claws come out against my skin again as he gets that scared cat look in his eyes. Leo mumbles, mostly to himself. There's no way this leads back to Echo. No way, huh?
Leo, slow down a little.
Leo takes in a seething breath. Just trust me, okay? This is getting out of hand. But I, honest to God, don't have a fucking better idea. I'm gonna keep going until I see that car we passed. Judging by the silence, no one has any better ideas. Fuck knows I don't. Another minute of driving, more awkward silence. Then, Leo hisses through his teeth. Straight ahead of us, a sign.
What?
How in the shit? Echo Mine. Danica entrance. That's on the other side of town. I say this as if it cannot possibly be where we're at, though there it is. It stands about 8 feet tall, faded wood, with that touristy Wild West font placard that the county commissioned a couple years ago. The sign's only readable because our headlights are right on it, the original solar face lights having been destroyed by junkies a year ago. Leo thins his lips, driving right past it. The minutes pass, and it becomes increasingly difficult to place exactly where we are. On this side of town, I can see that smoke from earlier more clearly too. The smell, like burnt charcoal, seeps into the cabin through the AC. It's like a barbecue out there. Leo lets out a worried bit of laughter, though the wolf begins to pull off to the side of the road, only to flip around and go the other way again. Jenna lets out a strange sigh. It's laden with exasperation, but there's a slight quiver in her vocal cords. We keep going, and more time passes. Daxton mutters something I can't quite make out to Carl, who has been oddly silent, his paws over his face. I occasionally catch Chase look at me in the rearview mirror. Despite his shit with the spider bite, he looks more, well, animated than I've seen him in a long time. There's a lot less staring off into the distance, and more active grimacing, muttering softcore swears, and a darting gaze. I never realized how yellow his eyes are before. Were they always that bright? More time passes, and as we round a bend, Jenna crawls halfway into the middle seat console and points ahead.
That's where Duke and Chase's car was.
It's not there now. How can you tell? Daxon keeps craning his neck to see past me. The corner looks familiar, but where's the car?
I remember that thing. Its silhouette was outlined against that group of pinyon trees by the guardrail.
TJ makes a whining noise. I recognize it too. There's no broken glass, tire marks, or blood, though. Absolutely no remnant of the memory to be found.
God.
There's nothing there. Leo speaks softly, as if talking to a child. It's unclear whether he's glad or upset that the grisly scene is straight up gone. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, jeez. I look out the window. I'm just gonna watch the mountains.
There's no if they decide to flip around.
He lets out a dry, terrified chuckle. Jenna returns to her seat, her eyebrows scrunched.
It's like we're stuck in some kind of loop.
Jenna gives Dax an inquisitive look, seemingly baffled anyone could find humor in this.
What?
It's just, well, it's nothing.
Go on. We've got time, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. I mean...
He exhales, shaking his head.
And Ad Astra.
Carl groans, his displeasure muffled by the pause over his face.
Some kind of was always the go-to line of Captain Amicus whenever he encountered something he didn't quite understand.
Daxon leans his head forward, his bald noggin pushing into the headrest.
Some kind of alien transporter, some kind of time paradox, some kind of matter replicator, some kind of reproductive goo, and so on.
And this helps us how?
Well, I don't think it does. It's just sort of funny, I guess. It's like I'm in an episode with a group of wacky characters.
Wacky, huh?
Jenna responds, monotone as she returns her focus to the window.
I'm just really glad I'm not alone.
No one speaks after that. As the truck's engine pulls us up another hill, I can see something come into view through a clearing of cacti. Oh, fuck me gently. Echo Mine, Danica entrance.
No!
TJ whines. Leo slows down more and more until we come to a gentle stop. We sit there in silence, staring at the faded text and a gravel trail that leads into the canyon ahead. Leo starts muttering darkly to himself, looking out the windows, then at the dashboard. I don't ask him if he's okay. I know what the answer is. TJ continues to make soft whimpering sounds, like he's trying not to cry.
It's okay. It's just dark, and we're going off-road somehow.
Leo whispers whatever comes to mind to explain what the fuck is happening. Carl still has his head down and his paws completely quiet. He could be asleep for all I know. I think about suggesting that maybe we should just wait it out until morning in the car. But as I open my mouth, I hear a scratching noise toward the back of the car. TJ's ears perk up, which lets me know that I'm not the only one. Instinctively, I turn around in my seat. Bits of glass fly into my face, and the next thing I know, I'm down in my seat, head down with my rifle raised toward the hole. Get down! Carl ducks. Jenna and TJ lurch away to their respective sides of the car. TJ accidentally opening his car door and nearly tumbling out. Close the door! Close the door! Carl manages to get a hold on the Lynx, trying to tuck him back upright as TJ cries, flailing about. I can't get a good shot. Carl's big head bobbing up and around as something moves around outside toward the newly opened car door. A shot rings out, though not for me. A wide-eyed looking Jenna holds her smoking pistol up and fires again. A sharp crack reverberates through the cabin once more. Carl, very much awake now, slams TJ's door shut and screams at Leo. Go, go, go! Leo's already on it, and I feel the car jolt forward. Then I'm bouncing up and down in the seat as we go off-road, Leo not bothering with a 3-point turn this time. Instead, going for a full U-turn. We're back on the asphalt and speeding down the road when I feel it's safe enough to raise my head back up and look out the back window. For a moment, I'm terrified that I'm going to find that thing crouched on the trunk, staring in at us. But instead, all I see is a giant hole through the back window, the remaining glass jagged. Oh, God! Are you guys okay? Jackson looks back and forth between us and the road behind the van. Chase, meanwhile, looks like he's about to throw up again. His muscled features are scrunched in a tight grimace as he presses himself against the seat. I sit up fully, keeping my sights trained on the back. Yeah! I yell at him over the sound of the car and the wind whistling around behind me. Jenna, did you get it?
I don't know.
Carl is bent over in his seat, too, brushing glass from his hat and hoodie. I look at TJ, who's still crouched over in his own seat, covering his head. Bits of glass are scattered on his back and head. I pick some of the pieces out from the fur on his neck and lean over him.
TJ, are you alright?
TJ shudders and doesn't say anything as Jenna plucks some of the shards from under his collar. What was that? Jackson shouts back at us, staring through the window. Fuck if I know! I don't want to think about what I actually think it was. I just need to be ready if it comes again. Leo keeps up the high speed, hitting some of the potholes hard enough that I'm worried we're going to get a flat. Then we'd be in some real deep shit. We drive on for another 5 minutes in silence. Then the sign appears in front of us again. This time, no one says anything, and Leo doesn't bother turning around. I watch out my window as we fly past the historic path. But nothing happens. All I see is a tall piece of wood with the broken lights, and all I hear is the wind whipping around us. Jenna keeps a paw on TJ's back as he remains hunched over, the other still holding Duke's pistol. Carl sits quietly, staring out his window. On the bright side, the bastion window has diminished the smell of sick, but the smoke smell is stronger than ever. Sparse dots of light show up on the horizon, indicating where Echo is. That's when Leo speaks up. Alright, that's it. We're heading back to my place. Shutting off all the lights, locking the doors, and eating toaster pastries until this all blows over. It's not the worst plan in the world, for sure.
Guess we have to.
I'd rather not meet the same fate as that guy on the blanket. Yeah, I reckon that sound.
I shift myself onto one knee in the seat, the old thing creaking under my weight. I have to hunch low so that my head isn't smushed against the ceiling. I just have to pray that Leo doesn't hit any sudden big bumps. There's a sinking feeling in my stomach at the thought of going back to Echo. Part of me wonders whether Duke and Chase's car are still there, and we just imagined that whole grisly scene. I stare at my window, watching the hills move slowly by under the moonlight as we turn onto Lake Emma Road. Maybe taking one of the mountain roads out of town would be worth it, whether we'd have enough gas when it happens. A crouched figure sits on the peak of a hill just about 50 feet from where we are. I squint at it, just barely able to make out what looks like shoulders and a head hunched up under the light of the moon. Oh shit. I'm directly across from the thing when I open my mouth. But I'm barely able to make a sound when it moves. It dashes down the hill in the blink of an eye, covering the distance between it and our car in a matter of 2 seconds. One moment I'm staring at a tiny black figure, and the next it's right up against the car, smashing to the side between my door and Jenna's. My head smacks into the glass and I see a flash of white. At the same time, I hear Jenna shout at us to hold on. TJ screams, Carl yells. The lake. I watch as water begins to pool in through the broken window, the jagged glass getting carried in with the flow. The van is already halfway submerged. We crashed in the fucking lake. How can that be? We were nowhere near it. The water is shockingly cold and rising up to my knees. TJ yelps something incomprehensible. I see Leo thrashing with his seatbelt, trying to get unbuckled as the car battery shorts out and the cabin lights go dark. Carl! The hyperventilating ram splashes about behind. I can't open my door! I can hear the sound of door handles being yanked. I grab my own, press the unlock button, and push outward, but the pressure of the water is too much. It doesn't budge. I try to wrangle my rifle up to butt the glass, but my seat got pushed too far up in the impact. I can barely move with my chest pushed up against the dashboard. Straining to wriggle free, I end up scraping my head along the roof. Piece of shit! Goddamn my stupid linky ass. Carl, use your head! I don't know what to do, dude! The horns! Do the ram thing! I realize what Daxton's trying to say. Fucking species features! Go, Carl! Okay! There's a shuffling of movement, followed by a hard slam. Glass shatters and more water comes rushing in. I have movement out my window, as first Jenna, then Carl, then TJ go through the window. Soon the water's up to my nostrils and my blood goes cold. I remember my uncle telling me something after we watched a movie with a scene like this. Until the pressure is equalized, you can't open the door. It doesn't stop me from wrenching on the handle, regardless. I push my maul up to the roof and take a large breath before being fully submerged. The metal underbelly of the van scrapes against the rocks on the lake floor, which makes a downright horrifying sound underwater. With one hard push, my door finally opens, and I can begin to squeeze my way out. I look over my shoulder, seeing the faint outline of rust-colored fur in the back of the van. Leo seemingly trying to get Chase. My lungs begin to burn. I realize I can't see the surface. I kick my legs, trying to push myself off the slimy lake bed. The pressure on my eardrums are like drills pushing into my skull. The seconds pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finally, I breach the surface. After a moment, the water splashes and Chase and Leo emerge from the depths.
Leo, I'm a fucking otter! I'm fine!
Guys! Guys! Carl pants, the ram appearing to be clutching one paw into TJ's shoulder to keep afloat. He can't really swim well thanks to his hooves. TJ looks to be struggling to keep their chins both above the waterline. Where's Dude Man?
What?
Daxton!
I don't know. Didn't anyone see where that thing went?
We need to get out of the water. It could be in here with us. I know it.
TJ's voice sounds like a mix of a whisper and a shout.
Please!
His voice cracks like a 12-year-old's as he stutters from a mixture of cold water and shock. I look around the mass of bobbing heads that surround me, but neither Daxton or whatever attacked us is anywhere in sight. In fact, land is like 100 yards away. How in the fuck? Daxton! Dax!
Carl, you need to stop yelling.
Jenna's tone is hushed but firm, the wet fennec looking like a soggy mop in the moonlight. I notice a glint of steel and realize she's still holding Duke's gun. I left mine on the lake floor.
TJ's right. We need to get to shore.
There's a coldness in her voice, one controlled by fear. It takes her a moment to realize what she's saying, and a horrible contortion of worry and guilt crosses her soaked features.
Chase, can you get him? I don't know. I don't know.
No way. You're in no condition. TJ looks down, opening his mouth to speak, but nothing but whimpers escapes him. Fucking hell. He's still probably all the way down in the van. We gotta get him!
He's a salamander, right? I know his kind can hold their breath a little longer than we can.
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck he dawdle, though. Chase, you're the only fucker here who can hold your breath that long.
He can barely breathe as is, Flynn.
I'll do it! I'll do it! Carl pushes himself off TJ. I sink like a stone anyway. Is he this fucking stupid? I doggy paddle my way over, grabbing the ram's arm and forcing it around my shoulder. Yeah, you fucking will. And how's your stoned ass gonna get the both of you back up? I think I can. No way, man. Keep Chase upright for me, Flynn. The wolf rolls his shoulders forward and dives underwater. I quickly paddle over with Carl now clinging to my back. Chase takes hold of my outstretched hand, nervously peering into the depths below. He accepts the help, but he seems faintly all right with keeping himself afloat. We float there in silence. I try to see what's going on beneath the waves, but the visibility is frankly ass soup. Leo's never really been a stellar swimmer. Fuck, Chase wasn't even that good either, beyond not needing to come up for air for a long time. Better than me, at least. When the water gets cold, I start shutting down, I guess. My muscles already are starting to feel rubbery, and the urge for heat is strong. It's the worst in my feet, where the water's deepest and the moonlight can't reach. Fortunately, Carl and Chase are warm, the two clinging to me in silence. I can feel the ram's whiskered chin on the back of my neck, and Chase's shuddered breathing on my shoulder. Or at any other time, it might actually be comforting. But right now, I just hate the waiting. I hate not being able to do anything but tread water. I definitely hate not knowing what's out there in the hills, or how the fuck we even got into the middle of the damn lake. Auntie's always warned me that the world's more than what we perceive, that our ideas of how reality works are limited to what we have experienced prior. I ain't ever been stuck in a fucking road time loop, attacked by a pissed off electrical socket man, or launched into the middle of a lake before. So everything kinda just feels unreal. A full minute has passed now. Fuck.
You should have surfaced by now. This is Leo we're talking about. He wouldn't have come up for air if he saw that dude man was stuck down there. This is Leo we're talking about. He wouldn't have come up for air if he saw that dude man was stuck down there.
God, this is so fucking stupid. Jenna, TJ, help keep these two afloat. I'm going down. The Fennec gives me a solemn-looking nod. She begins to swim over to me when what seems like a geyser of water splashes up in front of us, followed by strained gasps for air. Jackson's blue eyes are wide, his slick form quivering in the wolf's arms. With a quick shove, the salamander jolts free and begins to swim to shore with gasping panic. We all follow suit, though I end up quickly behind trying to support Carl and Chase. Jackson's the first to the shore, then Jenna, TJ, Leo, and finally us. All my adrenaline is completely tapped out at this point, and I fall to my knees in the sand. My arms are like jello.
Thanks, Flynn.
Chase uncoils himself from me, his voice wheezy, and breaks out into a raspy cough. Leo quickly hurries over, taking Chase under his arm.
Easy, easy. We're safe now.
The fuck we are. I peer around. Even with my eyes having adjusted to the dark, I'm still having a hell of a time seeing past 20 yards or so. Jenna gives me a quick nod, holding up Duke's pistol to show me she still has it. The soaked Fennec would look comical were it not for the direness of the situation. She must put so much conditioner into her fur to keep it that fluffy.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Carl proceeds to fall flat on his back, spread eagle in the sand, his hefty gut rising and falling.
Yeah, well, everyone okay, at least?
He didn't deserve.
TJ mumbles something, the lynx sitting with his arms around his knees, staring out into the lake. He makes an effort to scramble back a few feet as the tide comes in. Jenna moves over beside him, hugging the lynx from the side.
Shh. We just need to get to Leo's.
Leo lives on the outskirts of town by the old railway tracks. It's fairly isolated from the rest of the town. Going there is not the worst idea, but if that fucking thing could catch us in a van going 50... Fuck. I saw how it moved, too. Like a strobe light was being turned on and off, and it got closer with every pulse. That is still the plan. Leo affirms this with a nod, the wolf standing upright and ready. He's trying not to show his exhaustion and fear. TJ is just looking at Chase now. and he's got a shimmer in his eyes. He's crying again.
Chase, did Sydney... How long did he... Did he...
He's cut off before he can finish.
Come on, TJ. We have to go.
Chase looks over at him. His expression is harder to read. He's just... weak. What? Everyone seems to be pretending they're not hearing the whimpering TJ ushering him along. I rise to my feet, nearly tripping over myself as I get used to solid ground again. Jenna pulls TJ up with her, trying to move the links along. We'll get you laid down here in a bit, Joss. I'll see what meds I've got in my cabinet. Leo also follows suit, helping Chase up the shallow incline through the loamy soil into a basin of dry grass. TJ peers back over his shoulder. He's still looking at Chase. That's when I notice a large rock with a sole pinyon tree overhanging it. There's little bullet holes in the side of the trunk, 22 caliber. I made those. I look around, and right where Carl's laying, I see it. His blank stare, the blue eyes. He reminded me of a fish. This is where it happened. Carl sits upright, still clearly trying to catch his breath. At first, he doesn't seem to understand, but then the realization hits him as he sees the tree. Oh, shit. Carl rises up to his hooves, gawking at the tree. He's still. Oh. That thing I saw when I wrecked my car. The one that brought us here just now. It did it for a reason, you know? I mean, I used to think my house was haunted. That it comes with the territory of big spooky mansions. But maybe it's us? Carl extends out his paws to his surroundings. I assume he means the whole group. I sigh, feeling rather vulnerable out in the open without my repeater. The hysteria, it's affecting the whole town. Everyone goes crazy in their own way. It's what my aunt always told me. And even got her in the end. I wonder if she's okay, or if they found some other poor schmuck to blame the end times on. Then, why are we all seeing this? He gesticulates with a swirl of his hand to the tree and then the lake itself, before letting his arm fall limply at his side. We're all here for a reason. We meet each other's gaze, and Carl suddenly lets out a small chuckle, rubbing the space between his horns. Unless I'm just imagining you seeing this. I let out a puff of air and rubbed my face. You're dreaming about me, huh? Seems like it. He shrugs. Next time, cut out the horror games before going to bed, yeah? I haven't seen a single zombie. It's bullshit. He looks toward the lake and sombers. Just kidding. Yeah. I'm not immediately sure what to say. In the distance, the group looks to be trudging through the dried-up reeds and heading toward the train tracks down the pass. They're not waiting for us. Which I guess is understandable, noting Chase's condition. Carl's watching them too, though he doesn't seem overly antsy to rejoin them. If Sid were here, you know, a ghost or spirit or something, he wouldn't hurt us. Carl looks a little surprised, shifting his attention back toward me. What makes you so sure? I can tell by the tone in Carl's voice that he doubts that.
I remember Carl was really sensitive growing up, sheltered by his folks, something fierce. He'd cry and eat and cry, was basically a fat spoiled TJ. It took me a while to figure him out, and for Sid, he really didn't have much grace with the sensitive types. He was cool. I know you two never got along, but he had things rough at home. He loved hanging out with the group and all. Hell, he thought TJ was cool. What? No way. Well, he never said as much plain like. He just wanted to be around him, I guess. To believe God was real and had a plan. To be good without having to try so hard. To have folks who gave a shit about him. Dude, those last 6 months. I think back to Chase's words. I know. He wasn't himself. Not really. After a long pause, he shrugs. If you say so, I believe it. I was different then too, I guess. I was just a child, and now I'm a man-child. I wave off the thought. At least Carl seems calmer now, or at least is doing a good job at blocking out the terror. He's still got his tie on, though his shirt's completely soaked through, and I can see his chest underneath when he faces the moonlight. Man, if this wasn't real. Anything you'd want to say to not real me? Without hesitation, Carl speaks. Not a real big fan of fishing, dude. I furrow my brow at him and sigh before beginning to trudge through the sand after the others. I can't even see them now. They must have picked up the pace. Dude? I stop. His voice is softer, apologetic. But I like when you take me out. Even if it seems like I'm whining the whole time. There's no seems like about it. You do whine the whole time. A brief, sad smile crosses his thick muzzle. You guys still here? The salamander peers at us worriedly. Carl and I exchange glances, then nod. Good. That's good. I lost the group. I don't know where Leo's house is, and they kept walking faster, and then they just... Daxton toys with the zipper at the bottom of his hoodie. Must have gotten ahead of me. It's okay. I think we're supposed to be here. Right, dude? Carl looks to me. I cross my arms, unsure how confident I feel about this whole tapping into natural hunches. I don't know. It's just a feeling. The thing could have killed us easy like, and didn't. Instead, we're here. Daxton gives Carl and I a nervous look, clearly putting a wide berth between him and the lake. Okay. He seems jittery, which I suppose is valid. I can't believe Leo actually rescued you. I grunt, trying to rub what feels like lake gunk out of my eyes. Why'd you even need saving? You're a natural water boy. Daxton rubs the back of his neck, his eyes flicking up as he tries to clearly recall whatever the fuck happened to him. I was trying to save you. His tone is concerned, the salamander peering at me as if afraid I might crumble in front of him. The hell you were. I got out of there on my own, like 2 minutes before Leo dragged your slimy ass up from the depths. I thought I saw you drift off further down to the lake. You weren't moving. Anytime I tried to grab you, you just drifted further off, always with your back facing me. Eventually, I couldn't see you anymore. It was too dark.
He rubs his hands over his biceps rapidly, trying to warm himself. He exhales, looking briefly at Carl, then back to me.
I'm sorry, I don't really understand what happened. There's not a lot going on right now I can really explain.
That makes 3 of us here.
So, where's here exactly?
Where our friend died. Well, where he drowned and later died in a hospital. Carl's bluntness takes even me off guard. There's no coldness in his tone, though, just the truth of it.
That's terrifying. I'm sorry I asked.
After a moment, he speaks again.
And sorry for your loss. I feel like this past week, I've just been a dinglebear on you guys.
It's okay. It's cool you're here. Everyone goes quiet. Daxton occasionally looks over his shoulder to see if there's any sign the group sent someone back for us, but no such luck. I'm starting to realize how exhausted I am. Coasting on adrenaline for an hour straight will really take the wind out of you. I lower myself first to a squat, then sit cross-legged in the sand. Despite all the water and vegetation, the air still feels kinda dry and smoky. I wonder where that fire's coming from. No response. I look over and Carl and Daxton are sitting together, watching the tide. They look as tired as I am. What do you want to happen here? Carl eventually speaks, his tone droll and somewhat monotone. I look toward the tree with all the bullet holes. I want to know what happened.